Yo, yo, what's up, mi gente? Sapo salam. That's hello to everyone in Urdu, and you guys are listening to Talks with Arabian Papi and Toeray.
Yo, what's up,
Yo,
everybody?
yo, what's going
We're
on? Good
back. We're
afternoon,
back.
everybody. We are back with episode 14, where we're going to talk about life as a teacher.
Yes,
I
sir.
got a friend of mine that she's a teacher. Before we bring her in, we're just gonna just chat a little bit, give her a little intro. Tori, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, I know, guys. Listen, we try to stay consistent as we can, but guys, you gotta understand, do have well, I have 7 to 3. You can say I don't got a 9 to 5. Tori here is retired. So and because but Tori also has different things going on in his life, so it becomes kind of hard for us to stay consistent and bring out episodes every week, and we apologize for that. I mean, we try, and we will keep continuing trying, but we appreciate the support, and we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yes.
As always, we are live on Twitch when we do these episodes, and you can catch it afterwards on YouTube. So if you're here and you're watching us, you can feel free to ask questions and chime in at any time. You know
Anytime.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And apologies if we don't say hello to you guys while we're doing this, because it's kind of unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? How was your week, Tori? How you been since the
It's
last
good,
episode?
man. I've been good, man. Been kind of chilling, auditioning for
Anything new in the
stuff.
life of Tori?
No, man. I mean, new
How's
hair,
retired
but I think
life
I
treating
think I had
you?
my hair like this. It's good, man. It's good. Got my nose pierced. I'm
Yeah, no, your hair
finally,
is looking
uh,
good.
I'm finally
Yeah.
doing stuff for me and not, you know, for the military or whatever.
Yeah, right. The military. You had to be clean cut for the military.
Yeah, clean
While
cut.
working.
I couldn't have, you couldn't, no earrings, none of that, no rings, nothing.
That's
Clean cut.
crazy.
You had to get a waiver for your beard too. So, but yeah,
You
it's
know, you know what other job it was? I was like that. When I did UPS seasonal, and UPS works like that. You got to be clean cut. I'm like
like
delivering
why?
packages.
You're like, oh yeah, like
Delivering
why?
packages? Like why? Yeah, why gotta be clean for delivering packages?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, nah. They wanted you to be clean cut, but I'm glad. I'm glad. So we're gonna get started with this episode, right? We're gonna bring her in, and we're gonna talk about her life as being a teacher and all the amazing things and the struggles and what she does and the inside scoops of being a teacher. So this should be a good one. So give me a second to drag her in here. Where are we?
There we go.
All right, Fig, if you can go ahead, turn on your cam and unmute your mic.
There we
Hey,
go.
How we
There we
doing?
go.
There we
Hi.
go. How you doing today, Fig?
I'm good. I was like tripping because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like, how I'm gonna figure it out.
Nah, so now we are live, guys. This is Fig. All right. She's a teacher. Let's start by asking, what grade do you teach, so these people can know.
So I teach high school. Mainly ninth grade. I deal with ninth graders. I've taught every single grade though throughout my 6 years teaching. So
6
very
years. Wow, I didn't
Yeah,
even know you were
yeah.
teaching for that long.
almost
Oh,
6 years.
That's
It's
a
five
long
and a half
time.
technically. In February, I make 6.
nice. And what age did you start teaching, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 23.
Look at that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Look at
23.
that. And,
Teaching
and, bef-
seniors.
and before we get into why you started teaching, so how does that work? You mostly teach ninth grade, but at what occasions do you start teaching the other grades? Like,
Well, my story with teaching was a little like it's a little like it's not traditional. Like some people go straight into teaching and they have a set grade and whatever, but I was literally told 5 days before the school year in like 2018 or 2017 like you're going to teach a senior class and it's a health class and I'm like, "Okay." And these kids were like 18 and I was 23 years old.
Oh
wow.
wow.
So you were like, you
Oh,
were you
wow.
weren't that much older than them. They're like,
No,
miss, I could probably teach you a thing or two.
literally. They were like, "How old are you?" The parents were like, "What's happening?" And I'm like,
Oh my.
That's insane. So was it always your dream to teach? Like, was this a goal? Like, as growing up, is this something you wanted to do when you were little, or is that something that later on in your life you're like, yeah, no, this is what I want to do instead?
I always laugh when people ask that because chances are if you're a teacher, your dream was not to be a teacher. Like it's it's not It's everyone's like second option, honestly. The way that I started, I became a teacher by accident. I was working at Starbucks and my manager was like watching me help another partner like make coffee and she was like, like you would be a really good teacher. And I'm like, maybe I would. Like so I just like joined the program at my college and whatever, but I was really into musical theater when I was like young.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to
Nice.
be on Broadway, like I sing, I dance, I act, but then I'm
Okay.
like I know I'm not that talented. So I was like, it's not gonna be something where like I become famous. So I was like, let me just try out this teaching thing, and now here I am.
So you pretty much could say that your teaching thing started because someone encouraged you to do it, and you was like, "Fuck it, let me give it a try."
Yeah, I like helping people. I like helping people. I like helping people learn new things. It's just like it's a very moving experience. Like now that I've been doing it so long, I think of all the times that I've helped somebody, and that is what keeps me going. So
Do you
Okay.
have a favorite grade that you like teaching? Would you say like, what's your favorite grade to out of like all of them to teach?
I definitely like the ninth grade because they're like it's so funny. Like they're so cute and scared at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
because they're
my
going
ninth
to see.
graders right now,
Ninth
they're
graders are
like
usually what,
Yeah, they
14
don't.
year olds, pretty much.
yeah, like 13, 14, 15. And
Okay.
Mhm.
they're very like this year's group, they're so weird. And it's like so funny though. Like they're weird, but like they're not afraid to be weird. Like they're
Yeah.
openly weird and funny. And I
That's
love
cool.
that. I hate when kids try to front, like they're I'm so cool. These ones, the best. I love them so far, and I just met them, so
That's cool. That's
Was
cool.
there ever a point in your teaching life that you're like, "Fuck, what did I get into?"
every day, every day, every day. If you are a teacher and you don't have those thoughts every day, then I want to know what school that is because I have a lot of teacher friends, and every day we look at each other and we're like, bro, like,
What did we get into?
yeah, like why are we doing this every day?
Now, what would you say is the best part of teaching?
Um, I have had a lot of like wow moments, but they don't come very often. Because the work like, we're underpaid, like, we are
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
underappreciated. We do so much work in a day. I'm, like, mentally exhausted every day I go home, but, I actually had a moment the other day because I'm kind of trying to come out of, like, being in the classroom and more helping kids get what they want. So I'm in grad school right now to, get my, special ed degree. So I'm
Okay.
gonna be, like, certified across all contents, grades 7 to 12. But right now, I ended up getting a promotion, and, I am an IEP coordinator now. So if you guys
Elaborate on that. What is
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
IEP?
So,
Yes.
an IEP is a document for special education students who, like, legally receive services because of their disability.
Okay.
So that document like has all of their scores and everything that they need and what teachers need to provide them legally so they can be successful. But somebody needs to organize those files and make sure that the kids are getting their services and meet with the state and say, "Hey, like there's renewals every year." So if I have a
Okay.
kid who had an IEP in the 8th grade and they're here in the 9th grade, I have to meet with CSC and say, yeah, here's what the kid's doing. Here's the help he's getting to make sure that he keeps getting the services. Because if we don't, they'll cut the services off.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. And that is, I feel like I'm making more of an impact with that. I have a kid, and the example I was going to use, I have a kid who only speaks French.
Oh
Now, how
wow.
did that come by you? Like,
Wow.
Yeah. So,
did he come from another country and got transferred
yeah,
here? I'm
he
assuming.
lived here. He lived here till he was like, probably like, I think 7. And then they moved
Mhm.
him to a different country and then he came back like last year.
Oh
Oh
shit.
And
my.
so now he's at our school, and I'm, I'm like, oh my, like I'm okay with Spanish. I can help you with Spanish,
Right, right,
Yeah.
but we were trying to decide like what we're gonna do and how we're gonna help him. And there is somebody in the building who does speak French, so we had a
That's
moment where
good.
we were sitting with him, and we asked him like, is what we're doing helping you? Like, are you okay? He was like, yo, I'm good. Like he basically just said, I'm good. You guys are helping me. This is great.
That's
And
good.
hearing him talk was like a big thing for me because with us, he just like nods and he's just like this and he doesn't speak and he also doesn't make eye
Mhm.
contact. But I found out in his culture, they're taught not to make eye contact with adults.
Oh
Why?
wow.
Yeah, it's a thing. Like I don't know. I don't know exactly where he's from, but he said that to the guy that was translating, and I was like, wow, that makes the most sense. And I got to look at him and be like, yo, like, make the eye contact with me, like, try your best to talk to me. This is fine. We're here to help you. And at that moment when he was talking, I was like, I love my job, because we're gonna
And
see this kid from freshman year, and we're gonna see him senior year
That's
graduating,
yeah.
and he's gonna know how to speak English, and he's
that's
gonna be good.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
that's
it's
That's
that's
nice.
pretty
beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah.
What would you say is the worst part of teaching?
Um, there's a lot. It's just, the thing is, people expect teachers to be these like perfect role models all the time. And when I was a young teacher, kids would act a certain type of way, and I took it personal all the time. And the hardest thing for me was learning to not take things personal, because these kids are dealing with things, like real
Mm-hmm.
things that
Right.
we probably didn't deal with,
Mm-hmm.
And when a kid gets up and, like, doesn't give a shit about what you're talking about up there, and you
Hmm.
put hours into this lesson, and you were, up late, and then I have school that night. So I'm literally like, I'm tired. I work from 8 to 4, and then I run downtown to college, and I'm in school from like 4:30 till
Mm.
like 9 o'clock sometimes.
Wow.
Shit.
So a kid is like, "Oh,
Wow.
I'm
Oh
tired.
man.
I don't want to do this shit." And I'm like,
Oh.
"I'm tired."
You're tired. The fuck you do? Go home and
Yeah.
play video
Yeah.
games and
Yeah.
come back and do it. You're
Yeah,
tired.
and I had kids
So you have
straight up,
no idea.
yeah, and there are kids that are straight up disrespectful, and it
I
doesn't usually
bet.
happen to me, because I'm pretty good with them. Like, but I see the things that teachers deal with, and I'm just like, I can't.
What besides that, what do you think are other misunderstandings about teacher? Like you said, like you think that people think they're supposed to be these perfect role models for these kids.
Mhm.
What are other misunderstandings you think people have, or misconceptions you think people have of teachers?
A lot of people think that, like, we're babysitters. We're glorified babysitters, and I go into work and I hear things about students that graduated that break my heart. And I don't know how that kid got there. And
Wow.
I'm with your kid every day,
Hmm.
and your kid's telling me things. Your kid is sharing things that happen at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people think that it's just, I'm gonna stand in front of a class, teach you 2 plus 2, and then I'm done. That's not what it is. Like, I carry some heavy stuff that my kids share with me, you know?
Wow.
And it bothers, I lose sleep. I lose sleep over these kids sometimes. And I think that is the hardest part, because there are things that I have heard and seen that, honestly, I don't know how these kids go through it. So, it doesn't stop at, okay, it's 4 o'clock, school's over, my job is done.
Hmm.
It's not.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
So at start in your teacher career, you ever thought you would have these type of connections with these kids?
Um, yeah, and it came from my high school, because my high school, I went to Kennedy. I went to in the John F. Kennedy building, there's a small charter school, and I had fabulous teachers. Like, the best, most supportive people, and I'm still able to call them if I need anything. And, like, I really carry myself the way I had those teachers, because I knew how much I loved them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be like them, and that helps my connection. And I'm big on, like, respect. I tell the kids, I'm like, yo, like, all of that stuff about how you need to just respect an adult, you don't. You don't. It's earned both ways,
That's
bro.
true. That's
It is. It
good.
is.
That's
I'm glad you
good.
keep it. I'm
Yeah.
glad you keep it real with
That
your kids. That's
yeah,
amazing.
for
That's
real.
pretty dope.
Because, like, honestly, you don't know these kids. And then you woke up in there and you're like, you're going to respect me,
Yeah.
and you're going to listen to me.
Yeah.
And you're like, who the hell are you? What do you mean? Like,
Exactly. Yeah, just come in
So,
demanding it.
yeah, I make
Wow.
my kids, I let them make the rules first. I'm like, hey, so think of the worst teacher you ever had in your life. And they're like,
Mm.
oh, like, it always, oh, right? And then I let them vent for a couple of minutes about it. I'm like, oh, so what did that person do to you? And they tell me all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, you make me a list of what you don't want me to do.
That's a
Wow.
nice.
And
That's a pretty nice trick. So
That
now,
is
so
that's a really good trick.
so now you can see, like, I can see the little difference between an older teacher and you, right? So you just gave us a trick. What are other ways you found a way for them to respect you as you being a young teacher, and also like a tatted teacher? Because for some reason that's like a misconception. Like, if you're a tatted person, you're not a professional, you're not a respectable person, even though there's a bunch of tatted people with high-end career jobs as in doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure you have to gain the respect of kids and other parents as being young and tatted. What are other ways besides the list that you try to make them earn your respect with?
I just like I'm real with I tell them and I don't tell them everything, but I tell them about my life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very transparent with them. If I ever got in trouble for anything, I let them know. Like, yo, I went through this. And I'm telling you, it's gonna go this way.
Yeah.
And if you if you want to go down that road, that's on you. But I'm telling you what happened to me, and I've gotten a lot of respect for that. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that makes me think back when I was in high school. When I think back, it was all the teachers that actually took the time to talk with us and like tell us about themselves too are the ones that I like the most going through
Mhm.
school. That's
That is true. There were a couple of teachers back in high school that try to like understand us and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And like let's say they would try to talk to us slang. Like this just one memory I had. Like we was having English class and one of the kids was being disrespectful. So the English teacher looked back and looked at the student and said, "So what's up, pop bitch? What you trying to do?" And then had everyone laughing. Even the kid being disrespectful. He's like, "Nah, you got it, G, you got it, you got it." So, but you know what I'm saying? Like him doing that, made everyone laugh. It was like, you know what? This teacher's kind of cool, man.
yeah,
Let's cut some
you gotta
slack.
be open with them. You gotta like I do the whole like cool Bronx girl thing. It's cool because my co-teacher is this like white dude from New Hampshire. Like,
Okay.
it looks like Ed Sheeran. Like, he is like from the sticks. He is from the country. And then
Mm.
there's me, born and raised in the Bronx, you know? So like they see the dynamic, but it works. And you just gotta like meet them where they're at. That's it. Like I know what it is, and it's okay. And we're all here together. I tell them all the time, I'm like, bro, I'm learning with you every day.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about the support system. Do teachers support teachers?
It depends. So I have a group of teacher friends at my school who are my best friends outside of school.
Mhm.
I was talking, actually, I was with them last night. We had a party last night, and I was telling one of my friends who's not a teacher, I was like, my group of friends is so supportive. Like, first of all, finding girl friends who aren't hating on you, like on the low, is super rare, obviously, right? So, when something happens, like when I got the IEP coordinator position, they were like elated. Like, they were so happy for me. And we're all like, it's a network thing with teaching.
Right.
So I have a friend who I met in grad school. Shout out to Ashley. She is like the best thing, the best person ever. We help each other. So like we actually ended up finding out that we teach the same subject. We met through school. She works at another school. We both teach living environment. So now anything that I make, if I'm like, oh, I'm doing this with my kids today, she's like, oh my God, that's a great idea. Send it to me. And I send it to her. And she does the same thing. So it can go really well that way. Or you can have teachers in the building who stay in their mode of like how they do things. So if you're not adapting with the kids and you're not figuring out how to use assistive technology, all of this stuff, you're no good.
Mhm.
And there are teachers like that. And then there are teachers who want to stay the way they do things, and it doesn't work. And they
I'm,
don't want
I'm,
to
I'm
share things.
assuming
It's
that's
crazy.
like the older teachers, right? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure,
it's a little more, they're more stubborn.
Yeah.
right? They be trying to tell you, oh, the way you're doing it is wrong,
Right.
right? They be
And that's
trying to,
why my classroom management is amazing and yours is trash. Like, and it doesn't matter. Like,
Now, do
Wow.
you believe you guys get enough support from the school itself?
so my school that I work at.
Mhm.
Um, so my supervisor, she's like a second mom to me. She's amazing. I love her. And anything that I need, I can go to her for. Um, the higher up you climb, you're gonna meet some pushback on the things that you want. You gotta go. Bye. My dad's trying to interject. Be like, hey, this is a live podcast. You gotta go.
No,
Hey,
no,
how
I'll
you
do it.
doing?
Going up.
So, yeah, can I finish my conversation?
Go right ahead.
He just has to be like.
It's all good.
So I'm looking over here and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Here goes the interruption. What was I saying now? I totally forgot.
As you climb higher,
Support.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get some
So like
pushback,
as you
right?
climb up, you're gonna get some pushback with certain things. For the most part, like my principal is pretty like, I've known him for the 6 years that I started off as a sub at my school. And he trusts me a lot with a lot of the things that I like come up with and everything. So for my school, yes, I would say I can't speak for the DOE and things like that. I've heard horror stories about what happens there. I work for a charter school. I don't work for the DOE yet. I'm thinking about going over, but I honestly don't know if I want to.
And the DOE is
The Department of
of
Education. So like the
education.
the
Okay.
big public school system. So like
Okay.
all the like, PS 24, PS whatever, like whatever school you work at, that's public school or middle school attached to it. It's a public
Mhm.
school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And do you guys feel like you guys get enough support from the Board of Education? Well, I guess you will be a little different because you work for a charter school then.
Yeah, but so like I mean, we still are kind of connected to them. Charter schools have a very different like system when it comes to like budgets and stuff. So we receive funding from like people. It's not like we receive funding. I don't know. I don't even know how it goes, like what the dynamic is. But
Mhm.
we do have like more money, so there's more room for us to spend on things. Like I needed a $400 skeleton for my health class, and I was like, I want that, and they got it for me. But in the
Oh,
DOE,
wow.
they
Okay.
can't even order their teachers' pencils.
Right. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little
I don't.
different.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for you over there, Tori, because Tori's from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to school out there. But for us growing up in public schools, it was very hard to get certain things. Like even like she said, pencils was even
Mm-hmm.
hard to get. Like these teachers would come out their pockets a lot.
Yeah.
I do
And it was
too. I
Yeah.
mean, I do because at the end of the day, I mean, technically, if I buy something and I want to, like, let's say I like left the school, I want to take it with me. If I bought it, I could take it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
technically, if the school bought it, I gotta leave it.
Right, right, right. Okay, I like that. I like that. Have
Yeah.
you ever broken down while you were in school? Like you ever
Um.
fucking be like, damn, this shit's hard. Like,
I'm trying to think of like a situation because it's happened so many times. It's like every year. Um, I think the hardest thing for me one day was it was during like the height of COVID. It was like that weird year. So it wasn't like when COVID started, it was the following September.
mhm.
And we had no kids in the building. It was totally virtual, but they allowed us to go into the building and use our laptops. So I was like, you know what? Like I got to get out of this house. Let me go. So I went and I sat there and I was meeting my freshmen on the computer. And of course, nobody turned on the camera. I saw no
Yeah.
faces.
Oh man.
So I'm sitting there with a black screen with a bunch of names.
Mhm.
And I'm big on relationships with my kids. So big on that. That's how I like am so successful as a teacher. And I could not grasp them that way. And I was like, this is going to be impossible. And I literally like ended the call and I just sat there at the end of the day and I just cried.
Oh wow.
Because I didn't know what like, and also the building was empty. It was so sad.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know, and it's something that a lot of teachers struggled with. Like you're a kid, you're sitting at a table at a desk for 8 hours. You're not getting up. Of course you're not going to want to answer. You don't want to talk to this woman
Wow.
who's talking to you. Yo,
Right.
literally I would be like, "Hey guys, so like answer this question. Like what do you think?" Crickets.
I did not
I
think
just
of it like that. I always was just think, oh, you got it easy. You just get to sit at home or just wow.
I had to do lesson plans and then I had to do my slideshows and then we had to so the hard part about that was you had to figure out an interactive activity that you could see on your screen that they're actually doing the work.
Wow.
So it was
Oh my
so
gosh.
much harder. So much harder. It was really hard and it got a little better towards the end, but it was a moment of like hopelessness for a lot of teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Wow.
bet that had to be a rough ass time fucking teaching through a computer like that.
Yeah.
And I could
Sometimes I would like literally like I would get nobody to respond to me, so I would fake like, "Oh, great one. Yeah, okay," like and move on.
Wow, that
Wow.
sucks.
Oh
That
my
really
gosh.
sucks.
You had to.
And I bet you those kids are there playing video games or paying attention to something else,
Yeah.
not paying attention to you at all. I know that for a fact because we got a friend that he was doing school
He
during that time,
was.
and he would be on World of Warcraft with us playing. Like, yo,
Right.
bro, pay
It
attention
was like,
to your
yo, like
fucking
you're
class.
supposed to be in school right now.
Some kids wouldn't even, bro. I'd be like, turn on your cameras. You need to for like points or whatever. A kid literally had his headset on and he's playing in the camera.
Wow,
I'm like,
no fucks given.
none, nothing. I was just like,
That
"Alright."
is amazing. That is nuts. What about the supports from parents? How's the support from parents?
I have it's so funny. So some parents, honestly, don't care.
Wow.
And then you know what's crazy? And then they turn around and still blame you for it, even though they're not trying to do anything. Even though you tell them, hey, your kid is doing this and this. Maybe you need to help your kid with this and this. And
Yeah. One day, oh, this is a good one. One day, we were having like an assembly. It was a couple years ago, and a kid was like messing around during the assembly and there are adults talking and it's like, just listen, like stop being disrespectful.
Right.
So I went over to him and I was like, yo, like stop, whatever. And I walked away and one of my girls on my softball team was sitting behind them. And one of the kids was like, oh, this bitch is always on my dick. Like he said it, but I didn't hear it because I walked away. So she
Wow.
started screaming at him and she was like, don't say that to her, whatever. So I was like, I bet you want to say that. And then first of all, say it with your chest and say it louder so I can hear you.
Say it with your chest.
That is my thing. If a kid gets crazy with me, I'm like, say it with your chest, say it louder so I can hear you and so I can respond. Because if you're being bold, be bold and be loud about it too. Whatever. So I texted the kid's mom and she was like, oh my God. Okay, I'll talk to him. That's what I got. Imagine you're a teacher telling you that you're like telling your parent that your kid said that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So and then I have parents who come to the meetings and they're like, is he bad? You can hit him. It's fine. And I'm like, all right.
Like, first of all, sir, miss, that is not allowed. I am not trying to go to jail, right? That's not how we do things.
They're just trying to set you up.
Right.
Yeah, one of my football kids, his mom was like, and it was like this kid was damn near perfect. Like he never misbehaved, but she was like, if he ever gets crazy, like I'm giving you full like permission.
My gosh.
I was like, I don't think it's necessary. I'm sorry. Like, but you know, and she was like, no.
Have you ever had to get into it with one of the parents on a parent-teacher conference night?
Not at parent-teacher conference. I've had parents like yell at me on the phone, and I'm like, yo, if you're gonna yell at me, like I'm hanging up. Straight up. Like that's what I tell them. I'm like, you're not gonna yell at me. We're not doing this. I'll call you back when you calm down and click.
What would they be trying to yell at you about? Like what? They're not getting enough education or they're not
it's a lot, you know. I find that like a lot of the time that happens, it's like misunderstanding. A lot of parents don't understand what you're trying to say. And then there's also like cultural barriers and language barriers, all kinds of things. And a lot of the parents aren't educated either. And that plays a huge role in it. So they're just like, you're in a school, these are all the programs you're getting, just do it. But they don't know what it entails. So when you try to explain it, it's like a disconnect. I've never really had, honestly, a big problem with parents, like, because I'm very upfront. And if a kid is acting bad, I call. And if a kid is acting good, I call. You
That's
know?
good, yeah.
Yeah, I call for good stuff because it, like, you can hear like that the gratefulness in their voice. I called home on Friday for a kid who drives me crazy every day of my life. But on Friday, he was so engaged and did the work and helped other kids. And I was like, oh my God, like, who are you? Like, I don't know what's going on.
Like, what happened to you?
Right. So I called his mother and I said, oh, is this so-and-so's mom? And then she's like, because she already knew what was coming. And then I was like, I just want to let you know that he did a really good job. And she was like, what? Like, she literally like screamed into the phone, like, huh? Like, what? And I was like, yeah, I just want to let you know. And she was like, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. Thank you so much. And I was like, it's fine. I just want to keep him on this track. But it made me feel good to make that call.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah,
and that should, like, you know, if you're gonna call for the bad, you should also call for the good, you know, show them that they are being seen, they are being recognized for their work and their accomplishments. Because that does boost some morale up. Like, hell yeah, I did that. And they recognize them. Like,
yeah, man.
Maybe I should definitely keep this trend going. I fucks with that, definitely.
And I don't tell them. When I call home, I don't tell them. I let them go home and find out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's definitely a nice surprise.
Yeah, to come home to that.
That is
on
a
a
nice
Friday
surprise.
too.
What do you think about difference between kids nowadays into how we were when we were in high school? Who do you think were more disrespectful, more attentive, more wild?
You know, it really depends. I gotta say, like, these kids are just the things that I hear. I don't see, the thing is that it's hard because I was young too when I was like, so I was young and in high school and I did things. And I hear the things that they say and do, and I can't remember if I was like that. But some of these kids are really like, I would have never been that disrespectful. I don't know about you guys, but like, I went to Catholic school. My parents would beat me if I was disrespectful.
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
So, some of the stuff that I hear is wild.
Yeah, because I mean, I was telling Tory earlier, because I'm pretty sure he had different experience. Like, for example, like my school, I had to go in through metal detectors, right?
Me too.
over there at Tory. He did it. He, you know
Wow.
what? Metal
Yeah, no,
detectors.
no, I had a, it was like a pleasant, my school like experience was like in the movies kind of stuff. Like it was a pleasant stuff. Like I had a good, we didn't have like metal detectors. You didn't have to worry about stuff like that. But I
And you
mean,
say it was like movies. Was it like
it
with
was
people
just like,
separated?
it
Like
was
you
like
had the
pleasant.
jocks, you had like the
I
fucking the
mean,
rock
Music.
club and the emo guys and
it
shit
wasn't
like
like,
that.
nah, it wasn't like that movie like, but it was, you had some of like groups like that, and you had, it was just always like it was like always happy and always like upbeat kind of thing. We didn't have to worry about like metal detectors and people going like crazy in school. At least when I was like from elementary to middle school, and then I went to a preparatory school, and then when I got to high school, it was still, it wasn't as bad. We didn't have metal detectors or anything, but it wasn't like upbeat all the time. But it still wasn't dangerous like that. I didn't have to worry about stuff like that.
I'm
That's
not
kind
gonna
of
Not
that's
for
kind of
me.
crazy to
Yeah.
me that you have to go through metal detectors. That's
Yeah, nah. For me,
that's
I
unbelievable.
went to Alfred E. Smith High School, so that high school is like 90% boys, right? 10% girls. So you can already imagine all the testosterone in that fucking
Yeah.
school. Like I remember like one morning walking in 7 something in the morning, going to metal detector. The security dude was holding this student by the collar on the windowsill and then just flipped him over and slammed him to the ground. I'm like, yo, bro, it's already 7 in the morning and we doing this like class haven't started. What the fuck is going on?
Wow.
Yeah.
Fights in the staircase, fist fights with the security officers, and I'm like, yo, these kids would literally square up with one of the security officers. I'm like, God damn, man, this shit's
That's
insane.
ridiculous.
Yo, one time I was walking through the metal detectors, and I was like, I came straight from Catholic school, and I was smaller than I am now, and I was, I was like, okay, so I'm going through these metal detectors, and this one kid brought a box cutter. Like,
Oh shit.
why? Why?
Yeah, like
Okay,
why?
whatever. The box cutter falls out of his pocket, and I swear, like the whole place went quiet, and all you heard and saw was the thing fall and hit the ground, and then ding, 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 ding. You heard it, and the freaking officers like speared him, like ran and like attacked him, and I
Oh
was just like,
wow.
and this was right in front of
Oh.
me.
Like I've been in classrooms where I felt bad for this old dude. This is another English teacher, and they used to fuck with him all the time because he was old, and I felt bad. Like they used to throw paper at him. So
Nah.
there was this like in my era in high school. I don't know why this was a thing, but they would flip people's book bags. They would like take all your stuff, flip your book bag, and then put it back in. I don't know why that was a thing. They did that to the teacher, and the teacher tried to run and get his book bag. Then he tripped and fell in front of the classroom. I'm like, oh
My
man,
God.
like,
Nah.
yeah, like I even had a disrespectful moment with the teacher because talking about that when she said that the teacher was like, "Yo, she's on my dick." I was talking to someone and I barely talked. But I was talking to one of my friends and he called me out. He was like, "Kevin, shut up." I'm like, "Yo, Sturgis, why you on my dick, man? You don't see everybody else fucking talking." Like, I went so loud and crazy. I don't know what happened that day. I guess I was having a bad day. I don't know what was it. But one of the I don't know secretary or whatever came in and into the picked in the class and was like, "Yo, what's up? Why you talking so goddamn loud?" Like everyone heard it. Like that. I felt bad. I was like,
But that's
everybody
the
in class
thing.
stood quiet.
Nah, you said, "Oh, I was having a bad day," right? So you have to eat that.
Yeah.
If a kid says something like that to you, you cannot
Yeah, you
respond. You can't freak out. I'll be like, I know you're not talking to me. Like, I know you're not. But like, you can't. You have to sit there and be like, okay, this kid is probably going through something. I'll excuse it. And that's it.
Wow.
Imagine if someone
Yeah.
said that to you in the street. It's a totally different situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever had kids like throw stuff at you or try to
No, they would
pull any
never. They would
pranks
never.
on you?
They would never. They would never. Hell no,
They're not
not
no
me.
pranks, no nothing like that. Do they try with other teachers in your school?
Oh, I think we lost her.
I think she froze. It looks like she froze, guys. Let's give it a second. Little technical difficulties while she tries to come back.
Yeah. Wow,
So
man.
tell us about how your school is like that. How's school down there for you?
I mean, like there were fights and stuff like that. It was not on like New York level. It's not on that level at all. Like we would have fights and stuff, and when I was in high school, there would be fights between students, but like
Mm-hmm.
there was never like a worry somebody was gonna get killed or like, you know,
Right.
I couldn't imagine. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that, honestly.
Nah, when I was in school, these kids were wild kids.
Yeah, man. It makes me appreciate my high school experience, because I was coming from a preparatory school,
Mhm.
and so I was scared going into high school. Like I was scared, and then hearing what you went through when you first got into high school, I was like, I had it easy, man.
They ever try to like when you came as a freshman? They ever had like a senior freshman prank day or anything like that? Like the first Friday of that school week, us freshmen had to like watch our backs for the seniors.
No, well,
I
I mean,
remember that
they
shit.
would kind of like that, but my brother was already at the high school, and he pretty much he knew a bunch of people already. So when I got there, I was known as like, I'm Caleb's little brother. Oh, you Caleb's little brother. That's all people knew me at. Like, so nobody really like messed with me in that sense, because everybody knew my brother. So it was like I guess I had like some like protection when I first got into high school.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I think that first Friday we had there was like 5 of us. Like, yo, you guys just want to walk around together all day today? We were
Right.
like, yeah,
Just so
let's just stick together. So nobody try, and they do try to fuck with us. At least it's 5 of us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Did you ever have like classes where you had zero friends in there going through high school?
oh nah. Usually, like, nah, not really, because a lot of the classes you will have almost the same amount of people, amount of people taking it. Like the freshmen will always take almost similar classes.
Mm-hmm.
My senior year was different depending on how people passed their grades and what classes
Yeah.
they passed or stuff like that. But yeah, now I always had at least a friend or two in there.
Somebody you could at least talk to.
Yeah, somebody that they can at least talk to. I mean that was my personal thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure there were kids there that were like loners or just had hard time making friends. But nah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think my freshman year, I think fucking my last class, I cut like 96 times. I don't even know how many school days there is, but
I think it's 180 school days.
and so 96 of them for that last class, I wasn't there. All right, she's back. We're gonna bring her back into the. There we go.
Welcome back.
Sorry. I don't know what happened.
You telling too many secrets, or the board of education.
Clearly,
Yeah, they disconnected her.
The board of education said, "Nah, this ain't gonna happen right now."
Sent a warning.
Yeah, this ain't
I
gonna
had a
happen
good-
right now.
It was right at a good time too, because you were like, "Has anybody ever thrown anything at you?" I was like, "Hell no, they never would."
Have they done that
Because
to other teachers in your school though? Like, have they pulled pranks?
all the time. And it's like, like in the beginning, here's what I do. When I start in September, I'm like, I promise you I'm not the one. Like, I make myself seem crazy because I'm like, listen, I FaceTime parents in class in front of everybody. What's up? If you want to do that, if you want to be disrespectful, because I didn't disrespect you, and I would
Right.
never throw anything at you. So I've never had that, thank God. But they do it to teachers, but it's because they don't set that standard in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You gotta let them know, like, you're not gonna fuck with me.
Don't
You
test
won't
these
scare me.
boundaries.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not scared. I promise, I'm not scared of you. And that's how you have to be. And then they won't, even like the kids who are like, I don't call kids bad kids, but the kids with the worst behavior
Mm-hmm.
have never really done that to me. And I can't imagine dealing with that.
You ever had this kids like, fuck, I don't give a fuck, call my parents.
Yeah, and I do.
They ever try to give you a wrong phone number?
They can't do that because the school is the one that puts it up. So like we have like a software where you just pull up everything and then like everything's there. So they have first point of contact, second and third.
Oh wow,
I'm
it was
cool.
too easy for us when we were in school to get the wrong number.
Yeah, we did 100%.
Mhm.
My mom's not home. You want her cell phone? Yeah, here's her cell phone number. Oh,
Mine
I don't
was
know
always
what to tell you, miss.
You call my mom while she's at work. It's not gonna be pleasant for either of us. It's not gonna be good for either of us. She's at work right now.
And when I like bump heads with a kid who's like that, I'm like, okay, like at the end of the day, like if you keep fighting with the kid, it's gonna do nothing because they're just gonna keep fighting you. And then also, what do you look like being almost 30 years old fighting with a 14-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
a reason why they're acting that way. So I'm like, let's talk. Like you might not want to talk to me, but let's talk about what's going on and let's iron it out. And as a teacher, you have to apologize. Like you're not always right. You have to apologize.
Wow, that's
like that. It's
wow.
like,
I've never.
yo,
had,
I feel like I'm
never
happy
seen a
now. I
teacher
feel like
apologize.
I feel like teachers are evolving now. I'm happy to hear shit like
Right?
this going on. Like
We
that's
lost her again on
amazing. You know what I'm saying?
another amazing point.
Yeah, I've never heard of a teacher apologize. I never heard a teacher admit they was wrong. Ever. Ever. Oh, we lost her
We
again,
lost
guys.
her again on a good point too.
I've seen teachers flip out. I had I'm trying to remember his name because his last name is he was
You
Muslim.
gonna dock him? You gonna
And,
dock him right now? Just put his business out there.
I can't even remember. Like, but my man had a temper problem, dude. Like nobody was fucking with this. I seen this dude flip out and throw a desk across the room. Tight.
Oh,
We were like,
wow.
oh
Let me see,
shit,
can-
this
there we
dude is
go. We'll do
wildin'.
that so it's not frozen on her face like that.
So I've seen shit like that, but I've never ever seen
Yeah, I've never had a
teacher
teacher
apologize.
apologize.
I'm glad. And I do, you know what I think that is? It's like the transformation of like the older generation coming into the
Weeding out,
younger
yeah.
generation, like to like
Yeah.
our generation coming and teaching people because they were becoming more understandable because they just came through it and they understand what's going on. So they understand the do's and the don'ts. Okay, she's in again. Let's see. Let's bring her back. All right, here you go.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna stay on my phone because I don't know why the Wi-Fi keeps cutting out.
That's not a problem.
No problem.
I don't know if I can see you. Can you guys? Oh wait,
Yep, there
you
we
go.
go. Okay,
Cool.
beautiful.
I'm gonna keep you here, and that's it because this thing is like I don't know if it's because I'm in Connecticut and it's trash, but the Wi-Fi. But
I'm a Connecticut. My Wi-Fi is just fine.
no, but I was talking about that kid. So there was a kid who the freshmen last year were really difficult because they came from not being in school for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like they were in the 6th grade, skipped 7th, a lot of 8th, and then came to us.
Okay.
They were not prepared to be high schoolers. So they were acting like 6th graders, you know?
Wow.
And there was specifically who like annoyed me every single day with his childish behavior, and I freaked out on him all the time because I was so frustrated. And then at the end I wrote him a note because he was taking his regents, and I was like, I know that I'm hard on you sometimes, and I know that, you know, it's because I'm holding you accountable for your actions, and I care about you, and I know you are better than how you behave. And I wrote him that, and like he like was so grateful for it, and he passed his regents and he was good. But there's moments where you have to look at your behavior and see how and a lot of teachers don't do that.
Yeah. No.
And that's
they don't.
amazing.
Yeah.
And before you cut off, I was telling Tori, I think that's because the transition between the older generation that we're teaching to now is a younger, our average generation's teaching now. And we understand more because we just came through that. We understand the do's, we understand the things we didn't like that teachers done, and you took that and you turned it around, turned it into a positive way. So that's pretty fucking dope. I like that. That's amazing. I hope there's more teachers like that out there, like you, that, you know, that keep it real.
Well, they are though. Like honestly, like I said, like my friends, I have like 4 or 5 friends that are all teachers. They pretty much preach the same thing, and then I have teacher friends in other schools. So that's a good thing. Right now, the wave of these teachers who like know exactly what they didn't like and what they liked about school, and they take it and they put it into perspective. It's not like, oh, I'm a teacher and I'm proud of this and I need to prove myself. Like it's not like that anymore.
I'm
and it's
glad.
like a job. I need money.
Right. I'm glad. I used to remember back in the days when kids, you know, try to bullshit about why they didn't do their homework or how the report cards. What are like one of the craziest, lamest excuses you ever heard of a student not getting their work done? Like,
Damn. I'm trying to think. Honestly, like kids just tell me flat out, like I'm not doing that.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh wow.
I don't think we were ever that brave. I think we came up with
I
excuses.
definitely was not that brave.
Yeah. Like, am I ever gonna use this? Like, yeah, they'll just say, I'm never gonna use this, and I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna use this? Okay, bet. And I have those conversations with them, and they like, you know, I mean, I guess my class is different because it's a science class, so they enjoy it for the most part. We do fun stuff, but I've had kids complain, but we don't really give homework like that. So
Oh,
we
I love that.
classwork school, and they have Chromebooks. So like, if they don't do the work, they just do it for homework, and that's how it goes.
You said they have Chromebooks? Like they were like
Yeah. So because ever since COVID, we there's this thing where like you get a few days, like you get the days off or whatever. So if you have to
oh,
work from
okay.
home, so they all got Chromebooks. And
Wow.
somebody got COVID, they would stay home, and then they link you with a teacher
Mm-hmm.
who works with all the kids who are home for whatever reason on home instruction, and then they do it that way. So it's really like there's really no more paper homework. Like it doesn't. It's,
Wow.
yeah.
School is kind of lit now.
I'm about to go back to that shit myself. Fuck.
I wish it was like when we were younger. It was
Yeah.
nothing.
Now, there's been a lot of talk, right? And I've kind of agreed that sometimes school would teach unnecessary shit. Do you always follow? Like, is there a set things of the school tells you got to teach this, and you're like, nah, these kids are really not gonna fuck with that. They're really not gonna use that. Let's try to teach them this instead.
Yeah, so that's a really good question because there's two things. So there's like common core standards that you have to follow. Like that's more DOE, Department of Education. So the Department of Education kind of limits what you got to teach, because they're all about numbers and they're all about like statistics, right? For me, it's kind of like that only because I teach a Regents class. So I teach living environment, and the kids have to take that Regents at the end of the year. So it limits how much time I can spend on really fun stuff. I'm kind of forced to take whatever I have to teach for like the Regents and make it super fun, you know?
Okay.
So that I have that, but like when I taught health, that was the beauty of that class because charter schools don't really give you a scope of what you have to cover. So literally I built the whole curriculum for my health class, and I taught,
Nice.
I was like mental health. We talked about toxic relationships. My favorite yeah, my favorite thing to teach is the sexually transmitted infections and all that stuff. That is my favorite because
What are the reactions from those kids when you start teaching shit like that?
Kids really don't like. The most alarming shit that I've heard was teaching health because these parents don't even know some of this stuff, and these kids are here thinking that they get pregnant from anal sex and all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh my!
Like,
wow.
yeah, like, oh, but my dad said it. I'm like, tell your father he's wrong. I said he's wrong. You can tell him.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
Yeah, so my school was very, supportive of me being like very like open and addressing. Kids really do not know. They really, it's scary and it's alarming, and you can see why people get pregnant, like why kids get pregnant so young. No idea about their own bodies.
Wow.
Wow.
And do these kids keep it real with you if they having sex? You be like, you know, fake up out
Oh,
here, raw dog and this shit.
yeah, kids have come to me like worry, like
Jeez, Kev.
and things like that, and like we have resources where you can go to your counselor, and there's like a of places that you can go to get free birth control without parent consent and all of this stuff. Like, yeah, and
That's
I mean,
good.
it's a good thing to have because it prevents pregnancy and everything. But then
Yeah.
there's that part where like parents are like, well, what are you doing giving them this? So it's, I mean, I think it's helpful. I think it's great.
I agree. That is helpful.
I was the health teacher, just saying. They were like, no, in our school. So I'd like to think that I'm a direct result of that, but you know, I just I'd be worried to teach health in high school because when I was in high school, my health class was not what it should have been at all.
Do you think these kids nowadays are more sexually active than what we were back in the days?
Yeah, because of social media and because of all the things that are out there. Like there are
stuff they have access to.
kids are in middle school having sex. Middle school.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, God damn! What are you doing having sex that young?
I was playing Call of Duty and
right.
Don't even know that they have a uterus, like where a baby grows in their stomach. And every year I have to teach like it's not the stomach. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've heard it's hard. I have a million horror stories that are just.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's worrying.
Yeah,
So,
it's very worrying.
So in the past few years, unfortunately, we had a lot of school shooting. What are your takes on that?
That's hard because it's like it doesn't happen in like, the city, right? It's happened in all of these like suburbs and things like that. And we do not have metal detectors at our school. So what's stopping somebody from doing that? And that's very frightening. We do have security though. So if somebody, it's not a thing. We don't have a campus where someone can walk across a field and walk right into a building with a gun. And we have a door where they have to unlock it and they have to see who's coming in. We do lockdown drills and things like that, but kids don't take it seriously. And that's, one year I freaked out on my kids. I think it was right after the Parkland shooting. We did a lockdown and the kids were like hysterical laughing and everybody has to like hide in the room and we had to lock the door and they're like pushing each other around and joking. And I was like, bro, like, do you not know what happened a few days ago? Like, are you kidding? They're a lot of the time they're too immature to put it into perspective. Like, wow, this could be me. And some kids are like, oh, well, I'm going to fight the shooter. And I'm like, yeah, you sure?
You gonna fight someone with a gun?
Right.
Interesting. All right, James Bond, I hear you. I see you out there.
Battle immaturity because that is obviously a very scary thing. Our school has these doors. Like, I can't. When they put them in, it was like really scary. Right after that shooting, they redid all the doors in our building, and it's like a big gray door, and then it has a window this big.
Wow.
Like a little window. We used to have doors that were like all window, and then the bottom was wood, because it's a Catholic school building. But now it just feels like jail. But I mean, it's a necessity. You need it.
That's an unfortunate necessity too.
What do you think are precautions that the schools should be taking to prevent things like that happening in the future?
I mean,
precautions.
Up in the security. Like if you have to have somebody standing out there, someone from the service or a cop or whoever it is, I think that's a good idea. I can't imagine what that would feel like. And I can't. I don't want to think about it. Like every single day, I do wonder, like, wow, what's that, buddy? But you just go.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about them entertaining the idea of teaching teachers how to bear arms?
A while back, I said to myself, like, if they require me to do that, I'm not teaching anymore. But it's a little different now, I feel. Like they're making it easier for people to get guns in New York City now. Like, so I personally feel like now, like I have to take the train to school, and because of parking situation, and it's like if I have one, maybe it'll protect me. But at the same time, like, I'm also 5 feet tall, and I'm like tiny. Someone's gonna come and take it right from me. So it's like I don't know if it would protect me, and I don't think it's necessary. I just don't think it's necessary in my school. The school's been open like 15 years, I think, and never anything like that. It could happen any day, of course, and I hope it never does, but I'm like 50-50 on it. I support it and I don't, because I don't feel like I should have. Like, y'all should be setting the right, like, security and
For it, right.
doing
There's a lot of
everything.
veterans and retired police cops that
Right.
Yeah, they
that
should
could
be.
easily take the job on.
Yeah,
If
that
I
will openly take it too. They want to.
Yeah, that too. It's just, if I wanted to have a gun and if I wanted to do that, I would be a cop, or I would be, I would do security.
Yeah, of course.
I don't go to school packing. Like,
Yeah, you didn't sign up for that.
no.
What do you think of the reasons why teachers are so underpaid? I believe there was one time that you posted something like someone's like, "Oh, your guys just babysitters," and then you posted like, "Oh, you guys want us to be babysitters. Here's the babysitting rate per hour, and this is how much we should be getting paid."
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So why do you think teachers are so underpaid? What's the reason behind that?
It's like they don't. I really feel like, and it kind of sucks because like I talked to my boyfriend about like the things that I do during the day, and as understanding as he tries to be and tries to help me, no one's ever gonna understand until they're in the position. So, like I said, everybody thinks that we gotta stand there and teach your kid 2 + 2, but I come in and there's a kid crying because something happened with his parent in the morning, and I gotta sit and try to get to class. And then my boss is sending me emails on things that I need to do, and then I'm being told to do one thing with a spreadsheet, but someone else is telling me not to do it. And then in the middle of all of that happening, a fight breaks out, and then I gotta go stop it. So there's all of these things happening, and I really can't understand why we don't get paid more. Like I will be honest, administration gets paid pretty good. Starting salary for assistant principals in New York City, if you have it's called an SBL, a building leader license. If you have like starting pay is like 140K.
Holy
Wow,
cow.
that is fucking great. That
But
is good.
the job is hard because you're a whole school, and
Yeah.
if anything at school, it's your fault. You know. I think that I'm getting my certification. So once I get my certifications, I'll be making more money. The money's in special ed. The money is in
Right.
special ed. Always going to be special ed students, especially in the city, and we're like really needed. Like there's a teacher shortage, and it's like if you paid more, people would stay, but people are quitting left and right because they're paid.
Yeah.
Like so
And you
good.
think
I
the
just-
pandemic was a cause of that, or was that already in a decline?
I think it was already in a decline. I think that the pandemic did cause a lot of people to quit because it was, if you're for me, this isn't for me, you're done.
Mhm.
But realistically, like New York State, I think about it every single time I go to a new state, like on vacation or whatever it is, I look up the teacher salary. And I'm like, can I live here and work with my
Right.
credentials?
Mhm.
But I think a couple weeks ago in like Virginia or North Carolina, 25 years of work, you make max 50,000.
Wow.
Wow.
And it's so
Max.
crazy because, like, if it weren't for elementary, middle school, high school teachers, we couldn't get like the jobs that we have. Like, a doctor couldn't become a doctor if they didn't go through elementary, middle school, and high school. You wouldn't be able to become a doctor. So how is it that those teachers are not making the most money?
Right.
Like, like it's so ridiculous to me.
That is insane. What do you suggest people out there that they can do to help their kids and help the schools and help the teachers? What is something that you want to tell them?
A great like parent when you're a teacher and when you're working in a school is being responsive and following up is like the biggest thing, because if I call your parent over something you did and they're like, all right, I'll talk to them, and then they're continuing behaviors, like what did you do? Like, and then and I'm not saying like take all their stuff away. It's like it's an active thing. Like I have parents who are like, text me anytime and I will handle it right then and there, and that is the best kind of like parent we want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I call the parents and I'm like, hey, your kid did this. Yes, it was bad, but I want to make sure that they're getting what they need. So let's work together so this doesn't, because I don't want to also be like, oh, handle your kid and that's it. It's like it's a
Right.
we're supposed to work together, and that's the best type of relationship that I've had with the parents, because it just makes it easier for all of us,
Yeah.
and then ultimately it's for the kid, it's for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
So
Do you got anything else to ask her, Tori?
No, that
Any more
was
questions?
no. I don't have any more questions. That was
Is
good.
there anything else you would like to tell us, Fig, or tell anyone who's viewing? Any
Um,
questions for us?
it's so funny. I like tell people, I had like a whole rant the other day because I was dealing with a lot of really hard like stuff at work, and I was like, if you're going into special education, don't, because a lot of schools don't prioritize special education. We're on the back burner.
Wow.
And if you think about it, we should be in the front.
Yeah.
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 A lot of people still think, this is the one thing I do want to share. A lot of people still think that special ed kids are just like, they use the words retarded, and they're like saying, like that kid can't do anything because they have a disability. But like, it is amazing the things that these kids can do. And I think that everybody needs to just give those kids some room to grow and the support they need. And that's it. I really hate the stigma that these kids can't do things, because I have seen some amazing stuff come out of these kids and come from kids who have disabilities and everything. And I'm not even trying to be cheesy or anything. Like, it's a reality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have kids in college now, a few years ago, and they're thriving, and they had an IEP. And so what? There are kids that you'll meet, you won't even know that they have an IEP.
Pretty
And
amazing.
yeah, they deserve a chance. And I just want the world to know that it's really not about kids like, banging their heads against walls and like all this stuff that people think it is. It's way more than that. And it's, it's a lot of work, but it's, if you're in tune, you already know what it is. Like, these kids are great, and it's our jobs to help them realize that, not make them great, help them realize they're great so they can go on into life and be successful people, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I feel like
Yeah.
more teachers should play to the strengths of the kids because every kid learns differently, right?
Yes.
Just because they don't exceed in one particular activity doesn't mean they can exceed at all. You
Mm-hmm.
just got to find something that they're good at and find a way that they can learn
Mm-hmm.
and pick up on the things that are getting taught. So I appreciate that, and just having this conversation, I feel like you're doing an amazing job. Keep
Yeah.
going. I hopefully there's more teachers, like you said, your friends are like you, and I hope that
Yeah.
there are more
That's
teachers that are like you, and that
it's
and
heartwarming
keep
to know that there's teachers
yeah,
out
like
there.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. To know there's teachers
We
out there like
appreciate it
you.
very very much.
Seriously.
So thank you for coming.
Yes.
Oh, thank
Thank
Um,
you.
you. This is great.
this was definitely a beautiful insight. We appreciate you having you here, and we'll catch you on the next time. So
Yeah.
now we'll close out, and I will just move you from this channel. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, thank you
Bye.
for coming. Thank you.
Later. So there you got it, folks. Life as a teacher, right? It's pretty dope that seeing a younger generation teacher. Like when I say younger generation, because the teachers that I was used to were very more up there in age
Mm-hmm.
than what she is. So her bringing her values and things that she's learned, getting taught when she was younger and changing different ways. That's amazing, man. And hopefully that trend keeps going. So I like that a lot. I
Yeah.
really do.
It's nice.
And I hope you guys enjoy viewing this. You already know every time we do this podcast, we are live on Twitch. We'll post it up after YouTube. So make sure you guys like and subscribe,
Yeah. Yeah.
share the
Yeah.
shit out of the video. Okay. We
Please.
definitely got more episodes coming. We still have an episode that we're going to talk about the paramedic field.
True.
What EMS workers and stuff go through like that. So stay tuned from that episode. We're still gonna have that episode with the chef, where we're gonna talk about our favorite foods, life of a chef and the things they deal with and the shit that they cook and what we
Mm-hmm.
like, what we don't, the whole nine. Right? If you guys are ever in New York and you guys need a massage, visit Facebook's bio. That's what our boy Guns. That's his shit. Shout out to the Society Gaming. There's a couple of us that's still active. There are a couple of games that are going to drop, and you're going to see more of our members getting back to it.
Yes, sir.
All right. If you're ever in Florida, you need shoot. Shout out to Danny Diller Photography.
Yeah.
As you already know, any acting, script gigs, model shoots. Shout out to Tory. His hair's out here looking real nice. No spears. He out here looking like a snack. Feel me? And that's pretty much it, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all have a good
All
one.
right, the outro.